Hello everybody, this is Elder Wheeler here, in this new update. Well, not really much of an update, it's just mostly like, well, it's video logs. What do you expect? There's always an update every time, you know? Okay, like pretty much, for today, it's mostly about, it's mostly about, actually, I think it's gonna be random today, you know? Because mostly, what occurred today is that I went to the family ward, which I hadn't been to for about I don't know how many years. So many people have grown. I feel so short there. It's not really funny anymore. Yeah, there's that. But the reason why I went to the family ward is because one of the missionaries, which is one of the people I know for a long time, he was. Well, he went on this mission 2 years ago and finally came back a few weeks ago. I've been to his talk before at the singles ward, but the family ward was different. So, yeah, today is mostly about missionaries, like what people do on their mission or what they're preparing for the mission, which I find it quite interesting because. Well, they're working on, or they've been to proselyting to missions while I'm a service mission. Which for service missions, it's different, but not anything bad, so that's a good thing. Let's see, proselyting missionaries, they always have like a different experience because they always know where to go just to help others. For service missionaries, we're just mostly assigned places, that's all. How proselyting missionaries tend to find people is by the Spirit telling them about it, you know? And by that, I actually mean that when they pray, just to get some guidance on who to go meet, just to talk to, the Spirit the Spirit, which is the messenger of God. We are spirits in our own bodies. For the most part, it's two different things: that you feed the body or you feed the spirit. The more you feed the spirit, the more blessed you'll be. In which, for the spirit, it will guide you through your life. Now, with these missionaries, they feed their spirits most of the time, and I mean mostly. And because of that, they were actually guided through their missions successfully, just to help others, help themselves, and just to be who they are today, as well as to help others be who they are these days now. Because just like from a talk earlier, which is from a sister from the family ward, she came back for a mission too. So she said. Her companion had said to her, let's see. For her companion, she was thinking of how bad it would be just to go back home because of her past, in which her past she wasn't really proud of before coming to the mission. That's her companion, that is. But for her, she told her about the one in the Bible about the salt. Now the salt part is actually quite interesting because it was a dude with his family, running away from the destruction of the city. Pretty much the one thing though is that they were told not to look back at all. But while running away, there's a huge thing going on behind them. But for the man, he didn't look back, but instead, his wife did, and she turned into a pillar of salt. And because of that, she was no more. Now, what that means is that when we look back into our paths. And try to describe ourselves that way, it's gonna hold us back. We won't progress from it at all. That's one thing. That's the one thing I find interesting. Because most often it's it's understandable considering that, well, I tend to kind of look back many times because from my past, it's quite different. I'm just gonna say it here, okay? Back when I was a kid, I don't know how to express my emotions. Most often, I try to copy others. And being of the Mormon religion, I always smile. Yeah, just actually be able to, just to be like, hey, how's it going, or other stuff. But most often, I would actually have a blank face, just like that kind of stuff. During those days, I was a weird child. Sorry, that sounded like a swear word. I'm sorry. I was a weird child that mostly prefers to be alone. Now, during those days, that's for kids. They just say, "No, he's such a loner. That's such a bad thing." It's like, no, I like my loneliness, you know. So, because later on in the years, let's see, that was at one school. Then the other school that I went to, there was a big field that I would actually walk along at all times. Now I walk among that field for pretty much a few years, the rest of the school year, elementary school year, that is. During those days, during those times, while I keep walking, as well as talking to myself, with my mind being free to whatever I want to think, I even examine around me, how people react, how people are, but mostly it's a whole ton of drama for people. So for me, I'm just the kind of person that just walks away from it, avoid people's drama, because for me, I don't really like drama. So yeah. So while walking along the fields, I remembered, I think it was 7th or 8th grade that I've been walking. Someone actually came up to me, a classmate of mine, very much. She's one of the popular girls within the school, and she just went up to me while I was walking along the field and told me, that I was cool. What? It's just how does walking around the field make me cool? That doesn't make sense. I'm a person that doesn't know how to express emotion. I just mostly during the days I was playing with Legos in classrooms too. Kind of distracting, I think, isn't it? Yeah, I think it distracted other students, but for me, I needed it just to listen very much, because we couldn't find any other way. I've been playing with Legos. I walk along my own field. I don't really have many friends. I have a few, but I prefer to be alone mostly. So, well, actually, almost half the school is my friends, but I don't really talk to them much. Because every time I walk by them, they're just like, "Hey," I'm like, "Hello," which I find interesting because when some people come to me just ask me, "Hey, can we be friends?" I'm like, "I thought we were friends." In which they're like, "Really?" Yeah. But it's quite interesting how that is, because I am mostly a loner type. I like my loneliness. Yet somehow, but for people, they just many people may think it's a bad thing to do, but others actually find it interesting though, because most often I'm just along my own field. Then again, not many people know my past, or know me very well. And trust me, for people that's been around me for a very long time, they still don't know who the heck I am, or what I am, or how I feel. Because for me, for me, I tend to not express or not tell how I feel mostly, because, that's the thing, because when I try to tell someone about something wrong, they're just like, oh, you can shake it off. I'm just like, fine, I'll follow that thing, what you said. Very helpful. It'll benefit me for my life. Nah. Didn't really, so pretty much afterwards I give up on people and just like, I'm gonna be my own person. Just gonna help my own self, no one else. So, well, not really. Well, I mean, like for. Okay, that part sounds weird. I'll help my own self. No one else can help with it. But for helping serving others, that's what I do. Because mostly people have different struggles than I do, so I try to understand how to help them through it. In which many cases, many people that go to school, that I usually text along, because mostly in group chats or other stuff, I try to find people just to talk to, but most often they just feel depressed, and many reasons is school. So, and people always say, "Stay in school, kids." Dude, that's like a suicide mission you're sending your kids to. Yeah, it was for me. I just well, actually no. Let's see. For people that go to school, it's understandable because they need to do all the homework, all the work to it, get good grades, or else their parents would just throw them out or something. That's usually a thing. But for so I try to help them through it. Even when the people that are going through suicide, they're always having troubles too. So for those times, I actually help them get away from it. And I mean, as far as possible, because for all I know is that every life matters, and it's not the end of the world that you're a teenage. Come on, because even if you're a teenage, if you ever think of suicide, it's not really much of a good thing, because that means that you're already giving up on something, on the very difficult part of the whole thing, in which the difficult part would be school. Now that school is mostly like a brick wall. You can either get through it or you can get over it. Many people try to, but many people that try to go over it or try to get through it tend to give up after a while, since they always see like another wall at the end of that wall. It's very weird indeed, but the one thing is that after the storm of drama that occurs from school, as well as bullies, there's actually a better world out there for you. It may not seem like it much, but it's not gonna be like, I need to study every day, I need to work every day. It's not like that every day. Within your life, it's mostly how you prefer to be. For that, yeah, it's like that because, I know that for a fact because when I worked at warehouses after school, or after my school, after high school, pretty much I felt more free. I felt like I don't need to do paperwork. I don't have to do stuff that I don't want to do. Well, somewhat that is. Instead, I actually do what I need to do, but do it in a good way that I could. In which that's actually a better thing, since for the most part, it's one of the best things ever, considering that you as an individual get to choose your own path. For the most part, it may be difficult at one place. And you don't feel like being there, try a different place. I know that could work, because for you, if you don't feel like you're in a good place, going to a different place would actually help you fix you right up. Yeah, I know from experience, because I went to Missouri last year, I think, where pretty much. Well, I went there for about 4 months, worked at a different warehouse there, dealing with Pokemon cards, Magic Gathering cards, Pokemon plushies, which I love the most, honey, and other stuff in that warehouse. It's in a cave, too, so that makes it cool. While working there, the it was actually interesting because I'm with my grandparents there since I can't really afford a house at the moment. At that time, that is. I actually could feel free, like away from my parents, because my parents are always restrictive for me these days. Like even trying to get this video log up, they just go text me like, "Hey, can you bring cupcakes to church?" It's like, crap, you guys do. No, like I don't hate them that much. I don't hate them. It's just that, yeah, my parents are always like, well, like they always try to find ways just to bug me. So, yeah, it's gonna be challenging for me, but later on it'll be easier. You know, like when I get out of this house, that is. Yeah. That's gonna be like a year and a half, you know? Just gotta mark it on my wrist. With pen, not a blade. Blade, I don't count myself, okay? No. And with that, that's all the time we have. And with that, like, I testify that Jesus is Christ, and that everything that we know or that we're taught are true. Like within these latter days, that we may be able to be happy within these days. As I say these things, through Jesus Christ, Amen.